Assalamualaikum. Hi everyone. Good afternoon, I guess. Okay, so now it's already 12 p.m. So don't forget to key in your attendance. So everyone, please key in your attendance. Don't forget to key in your attendance now. Okay, so let's wait until 3 past 12, I think. So after 12:03, we're gonna start our lecture straight away. So this is a new chapter actually. So last time we already finished chapter 1. So today we are going to start with a new chapter, which is equations, inequalities, and absolute value. I think next week I'm going to spend another 2 hours on chapter 2 as well. And then the other week, 1 hour on chapter 2. And then we will start with chapter 3. Okay, so 2 more minutes to go. Where's everyone else? There's only 5 of us now. Lama-lama tengok yang kat bawah tu rasa macam dizzy juga, pening. Tengok dia pusing-pusing tu. So nanti saya tutup lah kot Bila saya nak start kuliah nanti saya tutup lah. One more minute to go. Don't forget to key in your attendance now. If you haven't done so, please key in your attendance now. I need to have 70 people who key in their attendance. So don't forget to key in your attendance now. Okay, so it's 12:03, so let us start then. Okay, so chapter 2, equation, inequalities, and absolute values. So this is the first lecture out of 4, so I'm going around 4 hours for this chapter. So at the end of today's lesson, so at the end of today's lecture, you should be able to solve the equation which involve the indices, set, and logarithm. So we're going to learn how to solve the equation when it's involved the indices, set, and logarithm. Okay, so now there are 3 methods to solve an index equation or indices equation. So the first one, we can actually compare the base and index of the term on the left hand side and right hand side. So by comparing the base and index, once we have a common base on the left hand side and right hand side, we can easily compare the index and then we can find out what is the value of x. Second, if let's say we don't have the same base, so this is for a different base, if we don't see any common base between the two, then we can apply log on both sides of the equation and then find out what is the value of x. And then the third step is by using substitution to get a quadratic equation. So I'll show you later on how to do substitution to get a quadratic equation and how to solve them. Okay, so I start with example 1b first because that is the first method. So I start with 1b and then 1a. Okay, so 1b, solve the equation 27 to the power of x plus 1 equal to 9 to the power of x minus 1. So firstly, let us check first. Can we change both of them into a common base? Okay, so what do we know about 27? So 27 is actually 3 to the power of 3 or 3 cube, and 9 is actually 3 square. So that means I can easily change them into a common base. So let us change that one then. Okay, so we got 3 cubed to the power of x plus 1, and then 3 squared to the power of x minus 1. So based on the rule of indices, so if we have multiplication like this, so we can easily multiply the power. So multiply the power. So what do you have is 3x plus 3. So don't forget this one, 3 times 1 as well. So that is why this is 3, and then 2 times negative 1. So that is why you have negative 2. Okay, so now we have a common base for both of them. So that means we can easily compare the index. So compare the index or the power. What do you see is that 3x plus 3 should be equal to 2x minus 2. And then in order to solve them, take all the x, go to the left hand side, all the numbers, bring it to the right hand side. So semua yang x sebelah kiri, numbers, everything with numbers, go to the right hand side. Okay, so what do you have is x equal to negative 5. So we're going to bring 2x to the left hand side. So it will become 3x minus 2x. And over here, it will become negative 2, negative 3. So that is how you get negative 5. So if we can easily change everything into a common base, then we can easily compare the index, let them equal, and then we can easily solve to get the value of x. Ya, nak tutup yang bawah. Pening je kepala. Okay, dah tutup. Okay, so now let us go to example 1a. Okay, so solve the equation 7 to the power of x plus 1. So 7 is already a prime number, so I cannot change it into another base. So 12. 12 can be changed to 1 times 12, but that is not 7. 3 times 4, that is also not 7. So I cannot change anything in terms of 7 or 7 to the power of something. So that means no, I don't have a common base over here. So 1 is 7, 1 is 12. We don't have a common base. Therefore, we have to apply log on both sides. So applying log on both sides, so you simply apply the log. So for me, I prefer to use log to the base of 10. But of course, we know that log, you can easily choose any log that you want. But normally, either log to the base of 10 or natural logarithm or ln. That will be easier for us to use our calculator. Either log to the base of 10 or ln. Apply log on both sides. Okay, so now log 7 to the power of x plus 1 equal to log 12. So over here, we have some power for the 7. That means we can easily bring the power down. So bring the power down. You're going to get x plus 1 multiply with log 7 equal to log of 12. So don't forget to make a bracket for them. Otherwise, you might multiply them wrongly. So now we need to have x as our subject. So bring log 7 to the right hand side. So we're going to get log 12 over log 7. So in your calculator, calculate the value of log of 12 first. And then you divide that value with log of 7. So log 12 divide with log 7. And then whatever that value is, you minus them with 1 in order to get x as your subject. So x is equal to 0.277. Wah, dia yang tengah makan si ayam. Wow, sedapnya. Sedaplah. Next. Dengar sambil-sambil tu. Okay, next. Okay, so now I give you one homework. So this is example 4. So we have to solve the equation of 2 to the power of x minus 1 equal to 3 to the power of x. As you can see, both of them, we don't have a common base because this is 2, this is 3. So we have a different base. So you're going to apply the same thing over here. Apply log on both sides. Log or ln doesn't really matter as long as both of them are log actually. Okay, so apply log on both sides and then bring x minus 1 down. and then simply bring log 2 to the right hand side. Make sure you have x as your subject. So that for example 4. If we have the time, I'm going to do them in class. If we don't have the time, that one will be our homework later on. Okay, next. Okay, so example 2, solve the equation of 5 to the power of 2x plus 1 equal to 6 multiplied with 5 to the power of x minus 1. Okay, so we already done the first one where we already compare the base and the index. We already done the second one where we apply log on both sides. So this is the third method where we're gonna use substitution to change it into a quadratic equation. Okay, so how do we use substitution? Okay, so firstly, you see over here, we have 5 to the power of 2x plus 1. So we have a plus. So if you have a plus or a minus, make sure you separate them into two terms. Orang panggil, tak tahu. Tapi satu 5 to the power of 2x, satu lagi 5 to the power of 1. Okay, so separate them into two with a common base, of course, because we have 5 over there. Okay, so separate them. We're going to get 5 to the power of 2x multiply with 5. This is now decimal place. It's supposed to be multiplied. Equal to 6 multiply with 5 to the power of x minus with 1. Okay, so now if this is 2x and this is x, that means we can use substitution as long as another one is double of the other one. Satu lagi tu adalah 2 kali daripada yang sekarang. Salah satu tu. So kita boleh guna substitution lah. Okay, so let us use substitution then. So let y equal to 5 to the power of x. So that means, tiba-tiba bawah ni gini. Tukarlah ni y. Ni y. Okay, so if y is equal to 5 to the power of x, that will mean if we have y square, then it will become 5 to the power of x square, which is simply 5 to the power of 2x. So that means in front here, we can easily change them to become y square times with 5 equal to 6 times with y minus with 1. So this, you change it to y, then I forgot to change it to y. Okay, so now let us bring everything to the left hand side because this is a quadratic. So in order to factorize a quadratic function, we have to bring everything to the left hand side to make sure that the right hand side is equal to 0. Only then we can easily factorize them. Okay, so now bring everything to the left hand side and let the right hand side equal to 0. As usual, this is y, this is also y. And then you factorize them completely. Okay, so we have 5y, y, 1, 1. So 5y, y minus, minus. So it will become 5y minus 1 and y minus 1. Again, forgot to change it, y. Okay, so 5y minus 1, y minus 1 equal to 0. And do make sure you have y as your subject. So y is either equal to 1 over 5 or y is equal to 1. Lebih baik dari awal saya guna 2. Tak apalah, boleh lah. Okay, so y equal to 1 over 5, y equal to 1. Okay, so now, since the question asks something in terms of x, therefore when we solve them, we should be able to give them x equal to something. But this time, this is y, so this is not x yet. So you have to go back to whatever your substitution is. So just now, we are letting y equal to 5 to the power of x. So we're going to substitute them again to find out the value of x. So 5 to the power of x, and over here, we have 1 over 5. So 1 over 5 is 5 to the power of negative 1. So we have a common base for both of them. So we can easily compare the index, which it will give us x equal to negative 1. And on the right hand side, we have 1 over here. So 5 to the power of x is equal to 1. So 1, if you want to change it into something with index, 5 to the power of 0 is actually equal to 1. So we can easily change them to have a common base. So once we have a common base, we can easily compare the index. Then we can see that x is equal to 0. So we have two answers over there, x equal to negative 1 and x equal to 0. Okay, so done with this one. Okay, so I give you one more homework to do. So this is example 2b, e to the power of 2x minus 3, e to the power of x plus 2 equal to 0. So now, check the power first. So this is x, this is 2x. So this is double of this one. So that means we can easily use substitution. So kalau ada satu tu double yang lagi satu, terus guna substitution lah. Tapi nak guna substitution, don't let x equal to y. Take the base as well. So this one, you let y equal to e to the power of x. Okay, done with this. Next. Okay, so this is for the third equation. So done with the indices. So now it is set. Okay, so technique to solve. Okay, so firstly, we have to check in our set, how many set do we have them? In our equation, how many set? It might be one set, it might be two set, it might be three set. So the easiest way is that if you have one set, always make sure that your set is on the left hand side. Normally, I prefer left hand side, but I don't want lah. Ada setengah orang suka kanan, ada mesti suka kiri. Senang sikit. Okay, so always make sure the set is on the left hand side. Everything else need to go to the right hand side. So that means if let's say you have square root of x minus 2 equal to 0, then only leave the set on the left hand side and bring the 2 to the right hand side. So we're going to get square root of x equal to 2. Then we can move to solve them. If let's say you have two sets, then move one to the other side. So let's say you have square root of x minus square root of 2 minus x equal to 0. Then it will be easier for us to separate the set, one on the left hand side and one on the right hand side. So set of x equal to set of 2 minus x. Then we can square both sides. If we have three sets, make sure one of them is on one side. So that means if you have set x plus set 2x minus set 3x equal to 0. So always make sure the maximum number of set that will be easier to handle is 2. So that means if you have 3 set, bring another one to the right hand side. So this one can be square root of x plus square root of 2x equal to square root of 3x. Ni contoh je lah. Tak tahu dah ada jawapan ke tak, contoh je ni. Okay, so now if you have 3 set, do make sure only 2 set will stay on one side and bring another set to the right hand side. It will be much more easier for us to handle. Because the reason why I said that is because of the next step. What we need to do, the technique to solve them is that you have to square both sides and isolate any remaining set. That means after you square both sides, if you still have something with a set, then only the set will stay on the left hand side, everything else will go to right hand side. Selalunya, if you only have one set, normally you wouldn't get anything else with set after you square. But if you have 2 set, you're gonna get another set after that. Same thing with 3 set, you're definitely gonna get another remaining set. Okay, so now square the equation again to remove any remaining set. So if you are left with set, do make sure to square them again and then solve that equation. Make sure you have x as your subject, but you have one more thing to do. Always check your answer, because sometimes when we are solving set, we might get more than one solution. So sometimes if we have 2 solutions, we might accept one of them or we might accept both of them. So that means if you have something with a set, always make sure to check, because sometimes we might accept one of them, sometimes we might accept both. But to know whether to accept one or both, we really need to check. Gonna do some checking part. Okay, so now we have a few examples to solve. Okay, so check Okay, so now we got square root of 2x minus 1 minus 5 equal to 0. So like I told you before, if we have one set, only leave the set on the left hand side. Bring the number to the right hand side. Okay, so we're going to leave the set on the left hand side. So we have square root of 2x minus 1 equal to 5. Next, in order to get rid of the square root, we have to square both sides. So in order to square both sides, do make sure to write them down in this bracket. Mesti kena ada bracket ah. Okay, so square. So now square root with a square, those two will cancel out. 5, you got to square them, be careful. So we have 2x minus 1 equal to 25. And isolate the x or make the x as your subject. So you're going to get 2x equal to 26. So x must be equal to 13. Okay, so that is the easiest one when we only have one set. Okay, next. Okay, so now we have two sets. So we got square root of x plus square root of x plus 2 equal to 2. Now, in order to get rid of this square root, we must square on both sides. But do make sure when you apply square on both sides, everything on the left hand side should be inside one bracket and then square. This one also one bracket, square. Jangan letak bracket sampai simbol sama dengan tu sekali ya. Asingkan kiri dan satu, kanan dan satu. Okay, so now to expand the left hand side, so this is like what we did in the previous lecture where I told you that if we have a plus b square, the way we expand them is that we're going to get a square plus with 2ab plus with b square. Okay, so now I'm going to give you around 1 minute for you to see and for you to try them to see whether can you get the answer or not. So 1 minute for you to try. So 1 minute starting from now, do try them and see whether can you expand them or not. Oh, lah. Wow. Okay. Right. So now let us check then. So firstly, we have a square. So square root of x with a square. Okay, so this is square root of x with a square. So square root x square plus 2. A is square root of x. B is square root of x plus 2. And then the b is square root of x plus 2 square equal to 4. Okay, so square root of x, if you square them, it will simply become x. And then square root of x plus 2 square. So we're going to cancel out the square root and the square. So it will simply become x plus 2. And this is equal to 2 square root of x plus 2. Okay, so now we got two sets. So that means we can easily combine them into one single set. And then we're going to bring everything else to the right hand side because we still have something with a set. Therefore, after this, we're going to square both sides again. Okay, so leave the set on the left hand side. So we're going to have 2 square root of x multiplied with x plus 2 equal to 2 minus with 2x. Okay, so now let us bring the 2 to the right hand side. So it will become 2 over 2, which is 1. and then negative 2x over 2, which is equal to x. So of course, if you don't want to bring them to the right hand side, that is also fine, but I prefer to leave only third on the left hand side. So that is why I prefer to divide everything by 2 first. So I prefer to have something in the simplest form before I square both sides. Okay, so now we have 1/3 on the left hand side, and then there's nothing else with third on the right hand side. So now let us square both sides. So square both sides. To square both sides, do make sure that this one inside one bracket and then square. Everything on the right hand side need to be inside one bracket before you square them. Pastikan dalam bracket ah. Okay, next. Okay, so now square root and a square, so those two will cancel out, and then the right hand side, of course, you should expand them. So we have x squared plus 2x equal to 1 minus with 2x plus with x squared. Okay, so of course, you can bring everything on the right hand side to the left hand side, so it will become x squared plus with 2x minus 1 plus with 2x and then minus with x squared. So bring everything to the left hand side. So you're going to get 4x equal to 1, which means that x will be equal to 1 over 4. Okay, so done with this. So we have done 1/3, 2/3. So now triple third. Okay, so now we have square root of 3x plus 1 minus square root 2x minus 1 equal to the square root of x plus 2. Okay, so now we already have 2/3 maximum on the left hand side, and then we already have 1/3 on the right hand side, so that is fine. Don't move them to the left hand side. Nanti pening kepala nanti, so never mind, just stay on the right hand side. Okay, so now let us do the first step, which is squaring both sides. So now everything on the left hand side inside one bracket, square, right hand side also square. Okay, so square them. Okay, so expanding this, so if let's say we have a minus b square, this one will give us a square minus 2ab plus with b square. So that is what you have over here. So this is a, this is b. So this is a square, so square root of 3x plus 1. If you square them, you're going to get 3x plus 1 minus 2. So these two, I already modified them into one set. So saya dah gabung lah jadi satu set. So it will become a square root of 3x plus 1 times with 2x minus 1 plus with, so this is the b square. So square root of 2x minus 1, if you square them, it will simply become 2x minus 1. On the right hand side, we have the square root of x plus 2 with a square. So it will simply be x plus 2. So now simplify them and make sure we only have the set on the left hand side. So bring everything else to the right hand side. Okay, so what do we have is negative 2, square root of 3x plus 1, multiply with 2x minus 1 equal to negative of 4x plus 2. So normally for me, I don't like any number to be in front of the set. So I prefer to bring it to the right hand side. Okay, so bring it to the right hand side, I have 2x minus 1 on my right hand side. And then on the left hand side, I'm left with 1 square root of 3x plus 1 multiply with 2x minus 1. So now we still have something with a square root. So square both sides again. Okay, so now square root and a square. So square root, square, those two will cancel out. So we are left with this term. So for the right hand side, do make sure you should expand them carefully. Expand them carefully. Okay, so now on the left hand side, I already expand them. So it is already 6x squared minus x minus 1. On the right hand side, that is 4x squared minus 4x plus 1. So do make sure that the right hand side is equal to 0. Bring everything to the left hand side. So it will become 6x squared minus 4x squared, so 2x squared, negative x, positive 4x, so it will become positive 3x, negative 1, so it will become negative 2. Okay, so we have 2x squared plus 3x minus 2 equal to 0. So now let us factorize them completely. So we got 2x, x, 2, 1, 4x, x plus minus. So 2x minus 1 with x plus 2. Okay, so 2x minus 1, x plus 2 equal to 0. So let us have the x as the subject. So we are going to have two values of x equal to half or x equal to negative 2. However, when we do some checking, we should be able to see that x cannot be equal to negative 2. Okay, so perhaps let us go back to the question and then let us see why x cannot be equal to negative 2. So, jom patah balik jap. Okay, so this is the question. Square root of 3x plus 1 minus square root of 2x minus 1 equal to the square root of x plus 2. Okay, so if x is equal to negative 2. So now on the right hand side, I will have the square root 3 times negative 2, so negative 6 plus 1 negative 5 minus square root of 2 times with negative 2, negative 4, negative 5 as well. Okay, so now inside the square root, we cannot have anything with a negative number because otherwise we're going to get something with imaginary. Therefore, this one should be rejected because once we substitute inside the set, it will become something with a negative number. So we cannot have any negative inside of this set. So that is why x equal to 2 must be rejected. So you can write down rejected or you can write down ignore. Ignore pun boleh juga lah. Normally I prefer rejected sebab dia macam bunyi kejam sikit, sonok sikit. Bukan kejam pun dah macam Okay, next. Therefore, x is equal to half. So always make sure if you have two answers, do check because sometimes we can accept both of them, sometimes we can accept only one of them. So always make sure that you check. Oh, by the way, those 3 dot means therefore. So therefore, x is equal to 1 over 2. So this simply means that this is my final answer. Okay, next. Logarithmic equation. So solving equation involving logarithm normally requires the changing of the equation in the form of logarithm with the same base. So when it's involved logarithm, always make sure we change everything into the same base before we can solve them. Okay, so for example, find the value of x for the equation. So we got 3 ln 2x minus 4 equal to 2 ln 2x. So firstly, check if you have a log, do we have something with similar base? If we have similar base, then we can easily start. Okay, so always collect the log on the left hand side and everything with number, go to the right hand side. Then you can have your x as the subject. So I give you some clue then. So I'll give you around 4 minutes for you to try first. So please try them and then we're going to discuss the solution later on. So I give you 4 minutes. Okay, done. Have you done them? Siap dah ke? Saya tulis. Awak dapat jawapan berapa? Dapat ke? Dia tak dapat jawapan. Tak dapat. Tidak. Tiba-tiba je nak tanya. Apa tu? Cooks. Apa? Cooks banana milk tu. Tu Cook siapa? BTS ke? Jungkook ke? Ke Jungkook yang masa tu? Yang mana satu ah? 256 kot. Bat tu nombor betul ke main teka je Bat? Nombor betul lah. Yang tengok ah. Betul ke tak? Jungkook. Oh. Ami ke? Okay, fine. Okay, so now 3 ln 2x minus 4 equal to 2 ln 2x. So now bring the ln to the left hand side. So we have 3 ln 2x minus 2 ln 2x equal to 4. So now if I told you what happened, nanti mesti awak akan laugh. Betul how easy this is. 3 ln 2x minus 2 ln 2x. You can actually simplify them. It is actually simply ln of 2x. Because if let's say I let this one as a, right? So this is a, this is a. So what do we have is something like 3a minus 2a. So it will simply become a. So that is why we only have ln 2x equal to 4. So now change the ln. Ln is actually log to the base of e. So this is log to the base of e to x equal to 4. So if we change the log to index, this is actually mean to x must be e to the power of 4. Okay, so now you simply have your x as the subject. So we have x is equal to e to the power of 4 over 2, or this is actually 27.299. So if you want to use your calculator, you can actually use the alpha with ln, or you can use shift with ln. But if you use shift with a ln, you simply need to write down the power. So it will become E4. So that one will be 54.598. And then you divide them by 2. So that is how you get 27.2999. If you are using alpha, so alpha with a ln, do make sure to use the power. So apply the power, so e to the power of 4, and then you divide them by 2. So that is how you get 27.299. So that's a difference between the shift and the alpha. So kalau pakai shift dah tak perlu letak power, kalau pakai alpha kena letak power tu lah. Power tu yang simbol yang macam ada, what you call it inverted V tu. Okay, so done with this. The next one. Okay, so find the values of x for the equation log 3x minus 4 log x3 plus 3 equal to 0. So I changed the question a little bit because previously we already something with the same base. So I should give you something without the same base so that we know how to solve them. Okay, so the firstly, to check the base over here, this is 3, this is x. So that means we do have something with a different base. So if you have a different base, change everything into the same base. So you can either change everything in terms of log 3 or you can change everything in terms of log x. So nak tukar yang ni jadi log x boleh, nak tukar jadi log 3 boleh. But for me, I prefer to have number as my base. Maksudnya kalau dekat bawah ni, saya akan suka ada number lagi lah. Nanti macam nak tarik senang sikit. So if you have 3 and x, better to have 3 in your base. So let us change everything into log to the base of 3. So now, you can go back to lecture 1 and do check how can you change the base of this so that it will become log to the base of 3. So how do we change this? So go back to lecture 1. So I'm going to give you around 3 minutes for you to try them and then let's see whether can you solve them or not. So ini saya bagi masa 3 minit Cuba Go back to the previous lecture. Do check how do we change the base of a log. Wow, madam, kenapa? Ada 47 orang, siapa lagi 13 tau? 14. 13 wait. Oh, dia dah dapat jawapan. Yo. Nanti kita check betul ke tidak. Bagi masa kawan lain try dulu jap. Ada lagi 50 saat untuk orang lain cuba. Lagi lah. Oh, terkejut. Sendiri terkejut. Sabar je lah. Okay, so now let us see how do... salah tiba-tiba. Salah tak? Okay, tak apa. Mau kita check jawapan. Okay, so let us see the answer for this. So we got log 3x minus 4, log x3 plus with 3. So how to do the change of base? Okay, so basically if we have log to the base of a, m, and I want to change this into log to the base of b. So this is log b, m over log b, a. So m is over here, a is here, b is the new base. So since I simply want to change it into log to the base of 3, so we're going to have something like negative 4 times with log 3 over log 3x. And log 3, so this one we can actually simplify them because if we have log a, that is actually equal to 1. So this is actually equal to 1. So this is simply negative 4 times with 1 over log 3x. Okay, so now let us substitute that into the equation and then let us try to solve them. Okay, so we got different base. Oh, you cannot see the note now. Log term must be of the same base. Then only we can solve the equation. So we must have the same base. Otherwise, we cannot solve them. So change everything into the same base. So change to base 3. So log 3x minus 4 over log 3x plus 3 equal to 0. Okay, so if let's say you have one log in your numerator yang bagian atas, and then another log in your denominator. So one at numerator, one at denominator. Hence, the way we solve this is that we must use substitution. So we're going to let u equal to log 3x, or you can use y equal to log 3x. Okay, so now, or you can easily bring them to the side. That is also fine. But if you think that you might make something wrong, then always make sure to change it to y straight away so that you have y. So let y equal to log 3x straight away. So we have y minus 4 over y plus 3 equal to 0. Then we have y squared minus 4 plus 3y equal to 0. So you can change them straight away, or you can easily bring it to the left hand side. Left hand side pak. Darab naik atas terus. So you can multiply with your numerator if you want to. So yang ni dia dah darab dulu baru dia guna substitution lah. So normally for me, I use substitution first before I times. Okay, so let y equal to log 3x. Then we have y squared plus 3y minus 4 equal to 0. So of course, this is a simple quadratic function. You can factorize them completely. So factorize them. So we have y, 4, 1. So 4y, y. So this is a plus, this is a minus. So y plus 4 times with y minus 1 equal to 0. So y is equal to negative 4, y is equal to 1. Okay, so we have log 3x equal to negative 4 or log 3x is equal to 1. So now we change from log to index. So this is simply x equal to 3 to the power of negative 4 or x equal to 3 to the power of 1. Okay, so 3 to the power of negative 4, that is actually 1 over 81, or x equal to 3 to the power of 1, where we have x equal to 3. Okay, so for me, if I have 3 to the power of negative 4, I don't change it into decimal. So before this, we have learned about rational and irrational number, right? Yang ni memang rational. Cumanya bila awak tukar dalam bentuk decimal, dia jadi macam panjang. Dia punya dot tu. So for me, I prefer to keep them as the fraction so that I can easily see what the number is. And I think that's it for this lecture, I think. Oh, by the way, you should always check your answer. So check your answer. I think you can accept both. So masukkan balik dekat dalam soalan tu. Okay, normally, what's the problem? So normally the problem is over here. If let's say the value of x is negative, then that will be undefined. So pastikan dekat sini sebab kita ada log to the base of 3x kan. So pastikan nilai x tu bukan nilai yang negatif sebab log belakang dia mesti tak boleh negatif. So log of x, this number, x will need to be greater than 0. So kosong tak boleh, log kosong tak boleh. So log mesti kena belakang tu positive number. So kalau kata negatif pun kita akan automatic reject lah. So over here, both of them are giving some positive answer, right? So you can easily check that we do accept both. Tapi kalau tiba-tiba yang ni x sama dengan negatif 3, so kita tahulah yang ni mesti kena reject. Kalau negatif 3 reject nanti masuk dalam log dia jadi negatif. Okay, so with that, I conclude today's lecture. So that means for next week, we're gonna start with inequalities and then absolute value. So I'll see you guys next week. So don't forget go to our WhatsApp group now because I want to check the previous homework. So last time saya bagi homework kan. So siapa yang nak hantar solution, hantar. Seorang je atau dua orang lah hantar solution so that saya boleh tengok jawapan lah. And then kita boleh tengok sama-sama kalau kata ada salah ke apa ke, kita discuss dalam WhatsApp group lah. Okay, so with that, I'll see you the next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.